So on this episode, I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks on how to take a snow goose from a snow goose to the amazing Mafa Snow Goose. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right. All right, today I was lucky enough to bag myself a snow goose. I'm going to make a Mafa Snow Goose out of it. I used my favorite Mafa chicken recipe. I've used it before for ducks, and it's turned out really good. So stay tuned. You're going to want to watch this. It's going to turn out pretty good, I promise. So the first thing we're going to want to do is open up our mobile cutting board and put Mr. Goose right about there. So then we're going to grab the knife. Make sure our knife is nice and sharp. Then we're going to open him up and get out the good parts. You don't want to watch this. It's nasty. It's never good. So 20 years ago when I had my house built, probably one of the smartest things, if not the smartest things the contractor did, was he talked me into putting a sink out in the garage. Nice running water and everything. Keep my knives here, kind of stay a little bit organized in this department. So when I show up with something, I can get it taken care of right away. I didn't even plan on going goose hunting until about 30 minutes ago. So right before shooting hours were over, found a field with some geese, went out there, got lucky, got one. So now I'm home. If I didn't have this all set up so I could process it real quick, I wouldn't be doing this. But anyhow, we're going to get it all cleaned up in the sink and before I take it inside the house. Okay, I got it all washed up. I really haven't eaten a bunch of snow goose before, but it smells like catfish, so you can take that however you want. So after doing the initial cleanup outside of the snow goose and washing it up really good in the outside sink, I bring it inside, washed it a couple times inside. Now we're going to slice it up and get it ready to go into the brine. But there's a couple things I like to do. First off, trim off everything that I don't want. But then also we take and I slice it up into the pieces that I'm going to end up cooking. And there's a reason for this. I'll show you here as we go. So I like to cut across the grain, which means you can see the grains of the meat going like this. I like to cut it like this into finger steak sized pieces. This one done. With the next one, I'll trim off. So the snow goose, he wasn't very fat. He's heading back north. It's almost the end of season, so there wasn't a lot of fat on him. So again, I'm going to cut cross grain. And I can see as I'm cutting that there is some damage from when he was shot. So before I begin inspecting the meat with using a magnet, I put a plastic bag over the magnet to keep any of the metal that might be remaining on the magnet, because the magnet's always attracting metal particles that might be around. So I make sure I put a plastic bag over it and check each piece of meat one piece at a time to make sure there's no steel shot. And right away, boom, right there, I find my first piece of steel shot in this goose meat. So I continue to inspect the meat. It's a lot easier to do this. Take your time, go real slow to make sure that you remove every piece of steel shot so you can eat through the meat with confidence, knowing there's no steel shot or hoping there's no steel shot in there. This isn't a foolproof guaranteed there won't be any shot in there, but it gets you pretty close. Once I started doing this, I haven't had any issues with steel shot at all. As I continue to inspect the meat with the magnet, I come across a piece that shows some resistance, and what it is, it's being drawn to the magnet. So there's obviously some steel shot in there. So once I realize this, I open it up further to the piece right where the resistance taking place, put the magnet back on there, and sure enough, it draws out the piece of steel shot, and there it is, as you can see right there on the magnet. So as I continue to inspect the meat, I don't find any more pieces that have any steel shot. So I'm going to continue to process it and getting ready to put it in the brine. So after I have them cut up the long way, I like to make them kind of into bite-sized pieces or close to bite-sized pieces. So I'll take each one and chunk them up a little bit, at least cut them one more time, if not two. This one I'll cut it twice more. So another little piece of gristle, cut that out. And don't be afraid that even though you've gone through it once with the magnet, if you see something questionable, run the magnet through there again. Double check it, because you could miss it. And it's way better to be safe than sorry. See one here. I want to try one more time. Nope, it's good. Nope, no more that I can see. So from here, we're going to make the brine to put the Mafa Goose in. So for this Mafa Goose recipe, basically you need 4 things to begin with. So one of them is a pack of tofu. So I really don't know exactly what this is or what kind of magical chemistry takes place when you put this in here, but something happens because it says to use it and it turns out with it in there. So we're just going to follow the directions and use it. Ooh. We're going to go ahead and drain the goodness off of this tofu, and then I'm going to, they want the consistency according to the recipe all blended up. So to do that, this tofu's, I don't know what it is, some sort of coagulated something. I don't know what it is. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to cut it up this way. And this recipe is actually for like if you have 6, 7, 8 birds. So this is way overkill to have this much of a brine ready for what little we have to put in it. But I'm just going to follow the recipe along and go from there. So it says to work up this tofu until it's kind of in a puree. So I wonder if you just squeeze it like that. Oh, yeah, that's it. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. So it says that we need to put in there a 1/3 cup of soy sauce, a 1/3 cup of sugar, and a 1/3 cup of minced garlic. So we're going to start with the sugar. It's a lot of sugar. I'm going to put our 1/3 of a cup of sugar in there. Then we're going to put a 1/3 of a cup of our favorite soy sauce in there, which this jug will last me 30 years. That in there. And then with this, with the garlic, we got this huge thing of garlic here. So it says a 1/3 cup. I'm going to do a little guesstimation. I'm going to put about that much, and then that much more. Yeah, perfect. So with that all in there now, I'm going to mix it up. I know this doesn't look that great, but you're going to be surprised. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here mixing it all together really nice. So one thing I would like to talk about a little bit more is the magnet. So again, I just have this magnet. I bought it off of Amazon, and it was being sold as a fishing magnet. Something you tie a rope to and throw it off a bridge or whatever, hoping to snag something made out of metal that's down beneath the water. But what I recommend for using it to find shot in birds that you've used steel shot on, because obviously the magnet's only going to pull in steel shot, is get the strongest pull magnet that you can afford. Get the one that just has an absolute incredible amount of pull, and then that really, really helps for when you're trying to pull up shot. This one's really strong. It holds real tight. So anyhow, that's what I recommend. That's what I do. It seems to work pretty good. Good luck. So once we get this all mixed up like this, we're going to go ahead and add in our animal of choice today. It is snow goose. So we'll mix it all in there. Good. Oh yeah. There could be somebody out there doubting exactly how good this is going to turn out. And I too was one of those people until I made this several times. And it turned out really good. So I'm going to mix this in, really get it mixed good. And then it says to let it sit 8 hours. I've got some stuff I got to do today. I'm going to let it sit overnight, and then I will finish out the recipe tomorrow. Okay, so it's day 2. Well, we've let the Mafa Snow Goose marinade for overnight, and we've stirred it a couple times. Went in, shook it, stirred it. Now the recipe calls for adding a couple of eggs, so we're going to do that right now. And that is allegedly to make it a little bit more sticky, like so. And that makes the batter stick really nice. And so we're getting ready to fry it. So we're going to do this first. Wow, it looks good. Got this all mixed up. Here we go. And normally, like I say, when I do this with the ducks, I've got probably 6 to 8 duck breasts that have been cubed up and put in this. And so it's substantially more meat per brine ratio, but this is going to be just fine. So I like to fry it in this tempura batter. Hopefully you can see that there. And then what I do is I follow the directions on it. So I'm going to get the batter ready, and then we'll get ready to fry it. Or the directions on the tempura batter says requires a 1 3/4 cup of ice cold water, and then empty the contents of the package and stir it in. So that's what we're going to do. Can you see the skill? Can you just see the skill going on here? Why would that not open up? Yeah, okay. All right. And it's supposed to be a fairly thick batter, which is exactly what this is. So I'm going to finish mixing this up really nice, so it's all nice and even. There we go. How about that? Okay. Okay, now that the tempura batter is ready, I'm going to pull out the snow goose, throw it in the batter, get it ready to fry. So at this point, I'm just going to mix in this in the tempura batter. Make sure it's all coated really good. Oh yeah, just like that. Now, it's going to wait for the oil to heat up. Okay, so our oil seems hot enough. I don't have a thermometer right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of these little guys for a test. Oh yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up the cooking oil pot there. Ooh, that's looking good. That is going to turn out perfect. Have I said yet how much I just really enjoy this Pioneer Woman kitchen cookware? It's really nice. The one problem with the tempura batter is that for some reason it all kind of migrates together and it will like to stick. So I'm going to put one more, maybe two more pieces in here, and I'm going to stir it. There we go. That one did good. Not too bad. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. Now what you want to do with waterfowl, any kind of wild game, don't overcook it. I'm going to turn this down a little bit and really just in for a minute or two and then back out. That's looking good. It's looking really good. First batch done. Put the second batch in here. And like I say, a lot of effort for just the one snow goose, but that's okay. Out of respect for the animal. And that's actually probably going to turn out pretty dang good. A lot of times with waterfowl, the problem is you try to figure out what to do with it. There's a lot of jerky recipes. I've made sausage out of it before, and given a lot of it away. Or you put it in the freezer and then throw it away next year going, oh, whoops, I forgot it was in there. But this is a nice little recipe to do that makes it actually something you look forward to getting and doing. So hopefully this helps out some of you guys and gals that go out and consistently get waterfowl and wondering what to do with it. All right, so looks like we got it all out. Just let this cook. I'm going to give it a quick stir. Oh yeah, that's perfect. All right, well, it's all done cooking, and so we're going to get it out and let it cool down. So my favorite way to eat this is just dip it in honey. So got some honey here, let it cool here for a little bit, and it'll be ready to go. All right, well, it's one of the nicer days that we've had in quite a while, so I went ahead and brought the Mafa Snow Goose out to the patio to give it a try. Let's take a little run at it, see what we think. Wow, that is absolutely amazing. I cannot believe it. I don't know where the magic happens. I don't know if it's the tofu, the soy sauce, the garlic, the sugar. I don't know, but it turned out the tempura batter. It turned out really, really good. It's amazing how it softened up the snow goose because waterfowl is typically a pretty firm, pretty dark meat, and it's almost like it tenderized it. So anyhow, I encourage you, if you harvest some waterfowl, to give this recipe a try, or if you know somebody that does like to go waterfowl hunting, give them this recipe. It is a little bit of effort. I'm going to lie. It takes. We're 2 days into this, but it's not. I really like. I really like putting the effort forward to make anything that I'm able to get useful, and not just useful, but something you look forward to, like this. So, Mafa Goose, who would have guessed? Turned out perfect. Man, I think I'm going to go out and see if I can find me one more of these. We've got like 3 more days of season left. This is good. So, as a pro tip, if you have an air fryer, that's the best way to heat up leftover Mafa Goose, but a microwave will also work just fine. And until next time, take care of yourself and enjoy everything life has to offer.